Hello, greetings. Sorry my voice is like this because I think I have slight bronchitis problem. And I want to discuss today about helping out and being true. So please help me also to learn how to be true, how to love as we go along together as in humanity. And I have faltered, so I want to rectify my mistakes and be as sincere as I can, and and not just be true to with the ego thing to or humble because of the ego thing, to impress each other with the truth. And so I'm just, I think in humanity or I've reflected, contemplated that we are all one, equal in humanity. And the truth I speak about and honesty is because I learned that from my religion first, Imam Ali, how he had to deal with hypocrites. Prophet Muhammad had to deal with them in a very different manner, the way they used to deal with him. He got trapped at times, we are told, from the Shia Islamic resources. And then Imam Ali. But this doesn't mean that we are putting Prophet Muhammad or Imam Ali, Prophet Muhammad below Imam Ali. We're just saying that Imam Ali was a prayer answered. Because when in the Quran it is said that Rasulullah prayed like this, "Oh Allah, make me to enter make me to enter good." Well, he was a prophet, but he taught us to pray like this. Make me to enter a goodly entry, and make me to go forth a good going forth, and grant me from near thee power to assist me. Power in brackets, I think it is to assist me, and in brackets others. I think that's more appropriate, possibly true. When I was reading my Shia translation, Quran. Now the thing is that a long time ago, the way I was raised by Maktoum, later on, my parents gave me a lot of freedom. They were very lenient with me. But what happened is, Miss Tissa taught me to be very true to myself. And as I was having a hard time, sometimes hide things that I did not know how to, like being embarrassed. But sometimes I felt that I could make my own laws as I went along. For example, there was a Muharram dancing problem. My father said that the school, it's the school thing, so you just go with the school. And I felt that no, looking at a Sayyid classmate, Khadija Zaidi, I thought that 8th Muharram would come, and no, I cannot, maybe not even 7th Muharram. I should sit with my fellow Shia Sayyid and not participate in the PE dancing thing, right? So my father didn't agree, but I needed a letter to be signed and saying that my parents don't allow me. I could have rephrased the letter, but I could have rephrased that it's Muharram and I no more should be participating in the dance in PE, physical education in Karachi American School, like that, right? So, and my father has agreed, or my parents' signature. So, meaning my parents don't allow me. The only mistake I made was perhaps put in that letter something like this, that my parents don't allow me. And I could have rephrased the letter to say that it is Muharram and I don't want to participate. But signed by my parent, mother, who was present in Karachi, but my father was in Singapore at that time. So, for example, this kind of a thing, Miss Tissa found out and then confronted me at her place about this, that I had lied. So I wanted to explain to her, but my English at that time. And I felt that I was put on the spot like this, and but that I should have now, in retrospect, it took me many years to correct myself and to explain to Mr. Sa, but Mr. Sa was not available. And when I wrote letters to her, she told my therapist that she throws away the letters in the waste paper basket or some dustbin. So I could not explain to her this. So I, because being in lower 7th grade or elementary 6th grade, I can't remember exactly. Excuse me, this is my little chest bronchitis problem. That's why the cough. Okay, so one should be true, but for example, I should have rephrased the letter that my parents are saying that Muharram and I shouldn't be dancing, and I would have not gotten into trouble. So I don't. I lied in the sense that my father did not agree to this, and he said, "No, you go on because it is a school thing." And the way I put it in the letter may be wrong. I can't remember the wordings of the letter, but just for the Ms. Tissot, I said that it just needed a rephrase, that it is Muharram. Then I wouldn't have been lying. And, for example, I would not have been lying, right? That whether one parent agrees or doesn't agree and says it's a school thing, you participate. But I didn't feel like participating. My father could have said, it is up to you then, right? But he didn't say this. So 8th Muharram came and dancing was on. So this was in physical education. I did not feel comfortable, like I had given the letter by I don't know which day of Muharram. So this kind of a thing, I could have rephrased the letter. See, I cannot talk properly and explain my condition or my thing, my case. It's for you to decide. But inside of, I feel that sometimes the laws are there. I do agree to go by the law and everything, but there are some times when you need to facilitate. Laws are there to facilitate and to make it easier, to make it safer, to make it more secure. Sometimes I feel there are loopholes in the laws, and we can, at that time, choose. If we feel Like there's a time when the traffic light, there's a green and or red, and you have to walk, and there are no cars. Okay, for your safety, you're not supposed to cross the road when the traffic light is red. But what if you feel there are no cars? There's some time you can cross the road without putting your life at stake or someone else's life at stake. I mean, this is a terrible example I'm giving. So, facilitate. Although I think in some countries, I mean, there's lawlessness in Pakistan, a lot of lawlessness and corruption. I've lived there most of my life. I've been brought up in Karachi, Pakistan. My mother was Pakistani. My father lived in Pakistan, like in the earlier, even later stages, like he was a Pakistani. He knows Gujarati, he knows a lot of languages like that. Urdu, and we've lived in Pakistan most of our lives. There were many UAE Emiratis, who Omanis also. We call them Luwatis. That's from my father's side, the community, who lived in Karachi, Sindh, and were settled there for a long time. They mixed completely with the Pakistani Sindhi Khoja community, because they were like us, like my mother's community. And then they had United Arab passports, Emirati passport, and then later on they've come here, and it's mostly like now, it's for a long time the Arabization, so that's why now the Luwatis are mostly considered as locals. For example, in Oman, in the passport, it no longer says Hyderabadi. So we have a history which is very controversial, and why we settled here, I don't know, and got the passport, I don't know. It is very confusing. We don't know exactly why, but you can read about the Luwatis, Luwatis, Luwatis. If you Google search, you might get something on Wikipedia. Keep searching. Wikipedia, I'm sure you have something on the Luwatis, and I can show you. So I want this video. I want to show you, but I want to make this video kind of short. So I just so I learned about this truthful honesty after I lost Mr. I learned the value, and I tried to work on this. I was telling my therapist also that I should work. Not that I was mentally crazy that I went to the therapist or psychotic. It was just as they used to call it, an obsession with the teacher, or some put the blame on me that I was a lesbian or something. Lesbian. But Mr. Sa never told me this. I thought what Mr. Sa told me is what I'm telling you. Time and again I asked her. I tried to whenever. She told me, things like, I will communicate through your doctor or this. So in front of me, she told me that initially when we were separated, I went to her place. She told me that we're doing this for your good. And I thought it was like an attachment that was unhealthy. Dr. Todd had come by then when I was in Karachi American School. Miss Dissa wanted me to go and see this American doctor. So she told me she was praying when I agreed. So I said, okay. So she said, I was praying for you that you would go to this doctor. So I was confused. I didn't think this was a crime to get attached to a teacher. So I would go through so much of therapy and all. But I was not a lesbian, and my therapist knew this. My therapist knew this. Pakistani therapist. Later on, Dr. Todd shifted me from herself to this clinical psychologist, small clinic. Now it's become big. But at that time in 1985, she shifted me to this clinic, Clinical Psychology Institute of Clinical Psychology. Dr. Farouz Yamat, but my doctor was then Mrs. Eva Hassan. She was doing her PhD. She wasn't as yet a doctor there. I was shifted to Mrs. Eva Hassan, who later on did her PhD from this clinic in Karachi. Okay, so I was not a lesbian. I was tested and came out clear. I was told that Dr. Farouk Ziamat spoke to the Karachi American School, but they would not agree. What I wanted to tell Karachi American School is what she told them, that we have a different culture and all this. However, Dr. Farouz Ahmad is also a liar. In other ways, she lies. So she lied about her middle name and all, that she was a Zaidi, and she's Kashmiri Punjabi. I don't know what the Kashmiri Punjabis have against me and my mother. She did a wrong therapy on us. My mother would come home really angry, and she would, Dr. Farozi Ahmad would say, I'll see you for free. Your father is a miser, and against my father. Okay, so I don't know what was wrong with her. She also wanted to monopolize analysis, this therapy thing in Karachi. And she had a connection with the military, so she could bully a clinical, another cognitive psychologist who had come and made a clinic opposite her house. So her house and the institute in 1985, 86, 87, 88 was very close. They were very close by, her clinic and her house. Now Ziaullah, after it's made, Ziaullah gave them free land for it, gave her free land and all this. Now it's somewhere else in Karsa, somewhere ahead, so further away from her house. But she wouldn't let this lady from AK Clinic, who was a Gujarati, Kachi, live and practice her cognitive behavioral psychology or something like this, different psychology, opposite her house. So she was being, AK, Dr. Anis Khan was being harassed by this woman, Dr. Farouz Ahmad. Okay, so that's my, so this in Pakistan, it is, the Sindhis they've now protested. I don't know what it is. So we lived in Pakistan, Karachi, and I learned, so through these doctors, this is what I said to them, that if someone slaps me on my right one cheek, I should give them the other cheek. And then I was talking to Dr. Farouk Ahmed the first time. She wanted to see me, so Mrs. Eva Hassan, her student, sent me to her in the clinic. So I told her this, and then she was like, no, did Jesus Christ say this? Is this in the Bible? And then she had to ask Dr. Eva Hassan, sent a chit. So I was working on my behavior. She sent a chit to Eva Hassan, rang the bell, and she wrote it down, and she said, is this in the Bible? Because Mrs. Eva Hassan was half German, so her mother became a Shia when she married her father. Right, so Dr. Eva Hassan's mother was German. So she wanted to know, maybe Mrs. Eva Hassan then, her student, may have known what is in the Bible. So this was my thing to surrender to my teacher, Miss Disa, and whatever she wanted me to become. It was taking time, and I thought this was the problem, that we had different personalities, and we had the personality clash, and cultural, well, not so much, because later on Miss Disa told me that she's half Shia, half Catholic. Oh no, before that she told me, sorry, before we separated, she had told me that I'm half Shia, half Catholic. So she was my teacher, PE teacher in Karachi American School. I was in Karachi American School from 1977, August to somewhere 1984, maybe April, I'm not sure, March or April. But Ms. Disa, I remember, did not come to my 1984 birthday, and I don't remember celebrating my 1984 birthday. That year was horrid for me. I had no school, I was separated and all this. So some of my life problems, issues. So what was I getting at is that being true, Ms. Desai used to say be true. And there's a lot of lies and all this in Karachi. It was very difficult to be true in Karachi. But I developed this fear for God, and then being so true that I could not even bear witness to God. Later on in my life, in 1990s, I remember reading a dua of mine. I'm a Shia, a former Shia, and so a lot of things happened, and then I came to Dubai. Remember I told you about the Luwati Arabs, Emiratis? My concentration is on Emiratis. They're Omanis too. So there was a Luwati from my community, my father's side, that stayed in Karachi, was from Dubai, Emirati. So I hope you don't get confused. And he lived in Karachi all his life. He passed away there. He did not come here to Dubai. And neither did I, and my mother wanted to come here. But later on, in Karachi, we felt like strangers there. You can go and look at, please, I refer you to Arif Ajakai's videos, YouTube videos. So I have, so people get confused, like you are Emirati and you don't know Arabic. Oh, we have this as Muscati, a language called the Muscati Khoja. Because of, these people, Luwatis, coming from Hyderabad, Sindh. And don't ask me how. There are various accounts, historical accounts, on how we our community from my father's side settled in Oman a long time ago and lived in Sor, a place in Oman. And they initially, many years back, they spoke in Khoja Muscati, but now even those of us are Arabized a lot. So we've left this Khoja Muscati language, Khojki, behind now in the new generation. And it will be redundant soon, completely gone. But there are Khoja Sindhis in Sindh, Karachi, Pakistan. And you can see how Pakistan is being Punjabized now. If you watch Arif Ajakai's videos on YouTube. And another thing is that coming from such a lenient, free background, knowing that as a Shia also we could do research and not follow our books and our peers blindly, always do our homework. We didn't do our homework until year 2000 when Tejani's books came out and someone like Yusuf Zaidi told me over the internet, sent me these books like Peshawar Nights and all this. So how much of our religious leaders, Shia, have told us the truth about the Sunni sources? I learned so much truth, I was told. So I was like, oh my God, we are right about this and about this. Our ulamas are right. They stake their lives, risk their lives because the Muslims, some non-Shia Muslims, they have this thing about Shias being disbelievers and policy is worse than them, sometimes worse than Jews, Christians, because we are in this religion and we're giving a bad name to this religion, being in this religion. So we are extremely dangerous apostates and we should be killed. So some Sunni Muslims are not that strict. They want to go on with their lives. They don't want to kill Shias. And they hardly understand the Quran like those extremists have understood. And like we are told, I've gathered the information that some parts of the Quran were abrogated, some verses. So the Makkah ayats and the Medina ayats are, different in the way, very different, the war and killing of apostates before. Like if you would say, oh, the good ones, like I was also confused. The good ones, good ayats in the Quran. So now you can watch many videos from the Sira YouTube channel, and Dr. J is there, Al Fadi is there. You can learn from Dr. David Wood. You can learn from Sam Shamoun and all this. So recently, Abdullah Samir was saying that Emirates had banned his kind of banned, or what do you call it? What was the word he used? Banned his blog or vlog on the internet and Pakistan. So, and we cannot question, like in this Arabia or in Pakistan, the Sunnis do not question their faith or religion, Islam. And I'm not like that. So because of my condition and seeing that it is a dangerous thing for us, this religion, if taken slightly in a different manner, it turns out to be a war religion and you can kill the Shias when we are Muslims. And, why kill us Muslims? So I had to do my own research and find out. Once I found out that we were more true than the Sunni Muslims, according to their sources, through their sources, I felt that I needed to do something because in Karachi, Pakistan, there was a lot of killing of the Shias, suicide bombers, going in our Imam Bargas and even in our processions in Muharram, Safar, month of Safar. And in Ramadan, Imam Ali's martyrdom days, Shab Qadr, we were scared. We had security guards in our outside our Imam Bargas now. Like, oh my God, we needed in this Islamic country, Islamic Republic country, we needed guards now. You know, security, a lot of security. So I made this Understanding Shia group on Facebook. And my condition, I made Sojourn group. I hardly go there because I just felt that I'm at the verge of death and I'm not dying. And anyone who has, someone had betrayed me and is my enemy after me, wanting to make me notorious in ways I cannot tell you. And I was too weak to now even apply my will to fight this. So, and sometimes I'd get heavy. I would want to go and find out who Yusuf Zedi's father was. I took his father's name from him and his mother's so I could meet. I felt that this messenger, these private WhatsApp, I would never use because they came like this in private also. And Facebook helped me. When it came out, a friend of mine asked me to join, a Christian friend. I joined Facebook. That was more apparent and transparent and better to use because of these people coming on Messenger and misusing. I felt I was betrayed. I had to expose them. It was too late the way they do it. So everything would be out in the open now. And I couldn't go to, I would forgive. I don't know what would happen to me. I would forgive these people, but then, forgiving in Karachi, Pakistan at the time, giving a blind eye, it doesn't work. And we were just, you barbaric people, you Muslims, this, that, what are these Muslims doing? I wouldn't, why are you lying? Right? Just get angry like this, justified righteous anger. I mean, it didn't help me to become a better person and to tell you the truth. I don't know how Mr. Sa lived as a Christian there in minority and speak the truth, but she was working in Karachi American School. So she was lucky and she had her blocks, community Christians. However, you can't go without lying in Karachi. You can't move without lying. There's a lot of lawlessness. So that place made it very difficult to be a truthful person. You need a good environment if you want honesty, truth, and others to prevail, corruption to end, sufferance to end. So that was not Islam and all. And then I saw, I've come here and I was told that now recently, and I don't see humanitarian anything in the Islamic world either. But hope, improvement, hope it comes. I felt that, if I may say, and not regret it later, there's room for improvement in the UAE. I felt it was a business hub and that humanity was humanitarian help and all this was not available. And the Pakistanis, have taken good advantage of Dubai Chalo. Let's go to Dubai. There was a drama. So they may have misused also, helped Dubai to build Dubai Emirates, and sorry for the mispronunciation, Emarat. They've helped, Indians have helped, but I feel the Pakistanis have also misused. I mean, we did this play in SM Law College before I went to London for law in 1994, Kashmir and India play. So I was an Indian lawyer, and the line I was supposed to say is that, how can such a country say these things for human rights and Kashmir rights? So the Pakistanis they made UAE, but then I'm not finding words. They also, some of them used UAE, right? Many laborers are human rights violation, and Emiratis are misusing them, have been for a long time. I don't mean to undermine that. That's true, but I think that the Arabs, before that, we didn't have the Shia Sunni. I remember my father telling me my great grandfather, was in Sharjah. He used to sell lantern oil in Sharjah, so they would say hello, salam, and all this. A very small community. So we want a global family, and with dishonesty now and misuse of people, laborers, and again, you're seeing Pakistan also. It's an underdeveloped country. But mostly I would blame it for doing this to themselves. They've killed their own people. Now I can give you the statistics and all, but I don't want to do that right now. We've lived there, so I've experienced it. So some say all 5 fingers are not the same. That all 5 fingers. Yes, they are not the same, but the amount of lawlessness, lies, and dishonesty and barbaric behavior, misuse and stealing, and cheating and deceiving, corruption. You can see Imran Khan's Dharna again if you find the videos. In politics, in other arenas, is there. Lies, professionally lying, like Dr. Ferozi Ahmed, Kashmiri Punjabi. So I appeal. So once but there's something that I know the Arabs, you might say my inclination is towards the Arabs. I mean, I have abused them, I said. When you should at least give them a chance and say, God bless you, UAE. But the Pakistanis, they feel they could feel, the laborers definitely, not the businessmen, but the business, real estate. My father has been here in Dubai about real estate. I think some fraud happened and it was a Pakistani. There's a thing of my cousin also, Hussain Sajwani. Not Hussain, not this Damak Hussain Sajwani, but Hussain Fuad Sajwani. About Pakistani's fraud in business. It's on YouTube, the video. Maybe it's removed. I don't know if it's still there. Let me see. I'm just searching for this one. I have the heart to search here for this one. And it's 40 minutes now. I have to upload this video on Hussain Fuad Sajwani, why he came on YouTube, because he could not reach with proper law and order through the justice system. So he had to come on YouTube and say this about a particular Pakistani business partner. Fraud. I only see Hussain Sajwani Dhamak. Oops, sorry, this is on. Sorry. No, sorry, that was just. Yeah, so I cannot find that video. Oh, this, sorry, this tab. Sorry, it just, from the YouTube, it's going to Hussain Sajwani. Damak one in Dubai. So that's not the one. It's my cousin, Hussain Fuad Sajwani. And he went on YouTube. Now, I have abused UAE, Sheikhs even, and I've abused Yemeni president for, when I was told that there was an article that the Yemeni government, president itself, this president, present President Mr. Abdurrahman Hadi, Mansour Hadi, was saying that UAE has done something there, like prison, some torture and all that. And about the Socotra Island, they want to take over. There was another article that UAE wants to take over the Socotra Island or something like this. That article could be false. So don't think that I'm flattering UAE. And but if I just want honesty and truthfulness and openness. And Islam, I'm going to talk about that until they also put a ban on my YouTube, Facebook profile and channel. Because I cannot explain my condition and I want to help out. And I've listened to the ex-Muslims and I agree with them that it is a very dangerous religion. And I myself have found some verses that even my Shias cannot. I went on my Shia channel on YouTube. In the comment section, I put it there. I didn't get any proper answer. So we were told Prophet Muhammad never makes a mistake. But in Quran ayat, the Surah Azab ayat, sorry, I don't remember the ayat number. It's said that not even unintentionally making a mistake, we Shias were told. And so, like for example, right, and Surah Nur ayat, so that prostitution under consent is allowed here, but there are contradictions, like you cannot compel, so it's very unclear about rape in the Quran. So Pakistan had problems on this rape issue. The victims could not go to court because if they didn't find 4 witnesses, oh my God, the ladies would be booked for zina, have this punishment for zina. So who was that human rights who has passed away? What was her name? This lady, I've forgotten now her name. She was doing a lot war against rape. The women, these human rights Muslims in Pakistan, ladies, war against rape. We went to one of their, Libby and I, my friend, Christian friend, went to one of their session. It was held in Zamzama somewhere, in an apartment, someone's apartment. War on rape. But there was this human rights lady, I'm forgetting her name. You see, she was trying to fight this thing about against, that zina and rape are different. So the punishment should be different, I think. And I started to say that, take it from Surah Yusuf, where the king's wife assaulted, sexually wanted to seduce Hazrat Yusuf. So the Muslim countries don't, Pakistan doesn't take it from there, but puts this rape thing in. So we have so many problems, can you imagine? And lapse of justice, which is unacceptable for a Muslim, true Muslim. At least the laws should not be like this. They should be available very conveniently and facilitate for these rape cases. So there are loopholes and there are these floodgates would open if we allowed this, but no, you have to see that they should facilitate, and for the truly genuine rape cases, rape victims. So the law does, the Islamic law fails to do this kind of thing, is kind of in error, and I couldn't take it. And so I cannot not speak about this. So at my own life's risk here, I have to speak about this. And I agree to the ex-Muslims' point of view. And so I need to also, I'm with them. I was with the oppressed Shias of Pakistan, and I need to speak about it. Otherwise, I feel suffocation. I feel like I'm half dead, more than half dead already. I have this condition that an enemy after me, and voices, mental condition, physical condition has also deteriorated to a great extent. And I'm sorry, this law of my country, UAE, I cannot go by, that I will not be, like, I've questioned Islam and I've made it public. And I feel a change needs to come. And I appeal to the authorities here. And I apologize, but I have to do this. So I've questioned Islam, and I've listened, gathered information from YouTube channels against Islam, and I myself have seen some contradictions that I cannot avoid, and this can be very dangerous. A religion which can be so dangerous, Islam, I agree to the ex-Muslims. And so we won't kill apostates, but according to these laws of Islamic laws, cut off hands, rape cases, lapses in rape cases, justice lapse and all this, I cannot take it. So I've been through a lot in Pakistan, living in Pakistan. Now I've come here. There's peace at least, but there's the truth. The truth is that Pakistani, some like taxi drivers, and I see like Lower Macedon, Indian workers, expats here, they don't really respect the Arabs. And Indians may not use the Arabs so much as the Pakistanis would use them. Like this Nawaz Sharif, former Prime Minister of Pakistan, having, business here when he shouldn't have. Legally, it was not allowed for him to have business here. So politically, I don't know what it is. And then some documents were brought out against him because he had this business here in some FC company. And actually, we found out that he's not allowed to have this here. These Pakistanis, they will use UAE for the money, and I haven't. I just haven't used UAE for money and all this. I have an Emirati passport. I should have come long time ago and used the facilities and everything that they give their Emiratis, but I didn't use them. And yes, long time ago I wanted to work, but I was, because of my condition. When my father got married, I found out in 1986, 87, I told my father, you leave, I'm going to take care of the family and start working. But by then my depression because of being separated from my teacher, Miss Esteria Dessa, and I could barely make it through O levels, go to school. Otherwise, I wanted to work. And then my brother was still in Karachi American School, so his studies, my father was paying for him in dollars and all, right? And then, so I could not do that work. I felt very weak and depressed, and my condition was deteriorating. Otherwise, I don't even wanted my father's money. When I found out that he had married a woman, I seemed gone and checked myself. So I don't use people. But I was weak, and now I'm weak, I'm getting financial help from here as an Emirati, and I'm allowed. So I just want to keep my needs as low as possible here too, like I tell myself. But when I used to see like my Sheikh giving charity and doing something good, then my heart would open, and I can at least go and buy some little extra, and without guilt, without feeling that some guilt I can't explain right now. But when I see that against UAE and the Arabs, the child jockey thing that we heard, and the other things, these things need to change. Human rights violations in the UAE against maids and all, then I feel like dying, that my country has betrayed me. And and about 800,000 people leaving Saudi, expats leaving Saudi Arabia. So, we Arabs have not worked so hard. This is another thing Loy Massador points out in his YouTube channel. You can watch that. So where the Arabs are going to have problems. See, in Oman, like I was told, the Omanis, they drive the taxis, Omanis. But here you won't find Emiratis driving taxis. Even the male. I've seen a lady drive a taxi here. She came from the airport. So she gave me a lived here, and she was an Indian Muslim or yeah, something like that, a lady or an Indian Hindu driving a taxi. But Emiratis don't. So we'll have problems later on. And we're having problems. Saudi Arabia has problems because the 800,000 expats have left. And we'll have problems if we go like this with this religion, Islam. Recently, I got this man, Pakistani, telling me that I'm kafir and a disbeliever and all, and hatred for Shias, so much hatred, and many other things like that. I found if I feel I cannot make out who is sending these people to me, and that shouldn't Emirates stop them, even on like considering my condition. I told the police I cannot, Dubai police, I cannot leave Facebook, social media. So I'll be using social media for my condition and all this. And I can't trust people. Oh, what I went through. I don't want to remind myself right now. I will later on continue with this. So for now, please see, I cannot stop talking against Islam and educating people. So maybe if I can save someone from this dangerous religion, and we need to bring a change. Many are saying this. I hope I don't sound arrogant. With all humility, I'm saying this. But my tone may be arrogant sounding, and but I'm just for the people to help out if I can contribute, because I feel very bad that I cannot physically. I used to feel bad in Karachi also, not be able to help out. So let's see, I have to do this. Otherwise, I will suffocate. And it's worse than death. Something you passionately believe in, you should take up. As long as it is contributing to society and doing good to society. I wish I could do more than this, but I can't. Okay, so thank you, and I will continue this later. And please overlook my English, bad English, and things I cannot explain. Hope my message reaches your souls and hearts more than like what my words are, and my words fail me. So thank you again. God bless you all. Best wishes, best regards for the atheists. Thank you.